We had learned the new technologies of space. We had learned to work with computers. We had learned to navigate. We had learned to dock. We had the confidence now to take the step, go to the moon.
Apollo 1 is the first chance to test the new three-man capsule in space. Rookie astronaut Roger Chaffee joins a crew of NASA elite. Ed White, the first American to walk in space. And Commander Gus Grissom, one of the original Mercury 7, and a good bet to be the first man to walk on the moon.
Suited up, they emerged from the transfer van in sunlight and shadow at Pad 34. T-minus 25 days, just 25 days before Grissom, White, and Chaffee were scheduled to lift off in Apollo 1.
Tests now simulate realistic launch conditions. The pad test requires running the capsule on its own electrical power, while pressurized with 16 pounds per square inch of pure oxygen. It's a deadly combination. A fire breaks out in the sealed capsule. Grissom, White, and Chaffee suffocate from the toxic fumes. NASA launches a full investigation, exposing deep flaws in its procedures and quality control problems throughout the capsule.
Apollo 1 maybe was the catalyst that allowed us to pick up the pieces and not just get the job done, but get it done right.
The capsule is redesigned from the inside out. Shielded wiring, fireproof materials, and a new hatch for quicker exit in an emergency. Nearly 2 years later, Apollo 7 fulfills the mission of Apollo 1, testing the command module in Earth orbit.
5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
Roger, Godspeed, Apollo 7.
Clock start flight.
Clear to tower. Clear to tower. Booster, you okay? Booster, okay? Go flight. Everything okay, Bill? That's affirmed. GNC, go flight.
Apollo 7 was also go for an exhaustive series of tests of its worthiness in space. One of the first things which had to be learned was whether the astronauts could control the spacecraft combined with the S-4B Saturn stage. A very similar thing would have to be done during the early phases of a lunar mission. The answer was not long in coming. Next, the spacecraft and S-4B stage were separated. The question now was whether the astronauts could turn their spacecraft around and control it to the degree required for future physical link-ups with equipment in space. For this, too, would have to be done in the lunar flight. In this maneuver, Apollo 7 had accomplished the first rendezvous of the program, and in so doing had proven capable of meeting still another requirement for lunar flight. There would be a host of other tests under a host of other conditions. The equipment and systems required to sustain men's lives, to guide and control and propel the spaceship, to provide electric power, to communicate with those on Earth, would time and again prove their mettle.
On October 22nd, 259 hours and 39 minutes after liftoff, the service propulsion system performs retrofire, and the faithful service module separates from the command module bearing the crew.
The purpose of the flight of Apollo 7 could be stated very simply. Prove that the spacecraft command and service modules would function properly in space, long enough to carry men to the moon and back. Accomplishing this was considerably less simple. It meant showing that a brand new spacecraft, far more complicated than its predecessors, would operate so well it could be trusted to take men well beyond near-Earth orbit.